Philosophy Fridays, popularity versus influence. You know, I've been doing this YouTube channel for a while and several years, about 3 years now. 380, 390, almost 400 videos. And we can barely crack 2,000 followers, 2,000 subscribers. And you see other people who start up their videos and you see them have like, in the same time frame, have like millions, right? And so you're like, why, you know, you work hard, you do everything right, and you just barely get what seem like peanuts, right? Comparative to some people where people put out some fishing videos and barely get out a couple of videos a month, and there's like 60,000 and something followers, and you're like, what? How do you know? This is a word of encouragement for anybody who is aspiring to take what they're doing and to go out and change the world with it. And don't worry about being popular. Me personally, I'm one of those, mad scientist type people, rather reclusive. I'm not very sociable. I'm out in public. I can barely have a conversation with most people. And I try to engage, but it's not a natural thing for me is what I'm saying. You take two YouTubers who start at the same time, and why is it that in, say, a year later, one YouTuber has 20,000 followers, and at that same time frame, the other YouTuber barely has like 200. I was proposed that small numbers matter, small numbers matter. So you have to get into touch with why the heck are you doing this? If all you're trying to do is win a popularity contest, okay, I guess you could do that and try, but that to me ultimately becomes like a selfish thing. If the only reason you're doing it is just so you can have tons of subscribers and just so you can have tons of people around you, it just seems like you're just placing yourself at the center of the universe and want everything to revolve around you, versus a vision that says this is worth doing and this is why I'm doing it. Black Warrior Lures was started as a way to show people how to catch fish to feed their families, show people how to fish in a way that's cost effective. From my Judeo-Christian heritage, to show God as he reveals himself all throughout the creation. Well, by definition, you've already made yourself a not popular measure, because people don't, these days, at least here in the United States, a lot of times people don't want to hear about God. They just want to do whatever entertains themselves. Problem is, there comes a heavy price to pay for that in the long run. All things are connected, and they're all connected in Christ. Understand the real basis of all I'm doing. Just check out the one video I had called Good Friday. You're having influence over people. If you have influence on people, over people, who cares what the numbers are? This channel right now has about 1,960 whatever, I don't know what it is. And if I had to sit in a room with 1,900, almost 2,000 people and give a speech, oh my goodness, how many of you could do that, right? That's a lot of people. Even if you just have 200, that's a lot of people. Even if all you had was 20, that's a reasonable number of people. That's a nice, So what do you care more about? Influencing people for a much bigger, more positive mission? Or do you just care about yourself and your own popularity and your own status? See, that's going to determine everything about what you do. I mean, there's a reason why you don't see me fishing with rod and reel. One, there's a ton of people already doing that. And two, that's simply not unique to who I am and what I'm doing. And the truth be told is, the type of person who wants to watch the popular rod and reel videos are not the type of people I'm trying to talk to. So by definition, right, the people who want to see those popular things are just not going to be attracted to what I'm doing. And that's fine, because I leave that for somebody else to do. So, but for you people who are watching, for some reason you keep watching. You keep coming back despite the fact that, I keep wrenching on my motor, despite the fact I keep running hand lines, and despite the fact I'm doing all these sorts of things, jug lines, and you keep coming back and watching the videos. Why? Influence. There's something that I'm doing that captures your attention, holds your attention, and has influence on your life. That's far more important to me than having 200,000 followers or 2 million followers. The question is, can I really service that many people? Maybe not, at least not right now. Why are you doing it becomes really one of the more important things as to the end result, because you may not see the end result in your lifetime. You know, I'm of a faith where a lot of the patriarchs and founders of our faith just never saw anything that they were promised, like Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. They never, you know, if you don't know that, you know, it's a story where God speaks to this one guy who was in essentially Mesopotamia, and he says, hey, go over here across the desert and to some land that I'll promise when you get there or whatever. And yet he dies without ever seeing any of it. He's promised him he'd make him a great nation, promised he'd make him, all the families of the earth will be blessed, and he died without seeing any of it. He didn't even have a piece of land to show for it. You know, all he had was some tents and some stinking goats and stuff. Barely got a son, Isaac, you know, and again, influence. Because right here, right now, 2017, here it is 4,000 years later, you know, according to what I believe, I'm part of that heritage that goes back 4,000 years. And here I am, a black guy in Alabama, shooting videos for you guys, and that's going all over the world. And that's just one small piece of a very big and beautiful thing that's happening. If you really want some interesting numbers, the book of Ezra in the Bible is really, the guy's an administrator who was taken, you know, Israel, they did all the wrong stuff, and God kicks him out and says, but he's going to bring him back. And one of the men he used was a man named Ezra, who was an administrator essentially in Babylon in one of the king's courts. And they went back and he charted all this, documented every little thing. You know, it says in Isaiah that there's only going to be a remnant that's going to return after the exile. There was only, like 40,000, 42,000 people who came back. And as he's going down through all the Judites and the Benjamites and things like that came back, there's some families that only had 42 people to come back. But there's some families who had thousands, right? Like 3,000. I forget the name. It's kind of hard to pronounce all those old names and stuff. Like, how does that doesn't sound, you probably say, that doesn't sound fair. Well, it's not about fair. It's about God redeeming the human race and God deciding that he's going to spare the human race. Well, if God, being all-powerful, decides he's going to spare the human race, that little 42 people becomes very valuable, because you're talking about influencing all of humanity. And that is the basis for everything I do. See ya.